Next up, I want to welcome the team from Hi9. Wo and his team have been working on a really exciting project. I'm not going to spoil it for you. I'm going to hand straight over and welcome Wo, Wasim and Mimi to the stage. Please give them a warm welcome.
Thanks.
And
Cheers. And also Dr. Lauren is joining us. She's our head of narrative design. Last minute, but that should be fine. Hi, I'm Wo, CEO of Hi9. Today's a really incredibly important day for me. I put up on Twitter this is 8 years in the making, hundreds of thousands of pounds and a lot of sacrifices of family and friends, all to this point. So for me, this is incredibly important, and I'm so honoured to be in Cornwall and with everyone here who's helped. So, on that's what we're launching today. I would like everyone at some point to scan the QR code of this. It's a beta launch and for early adopters of something called Debbie. And we're hoping Debbie is going to revolutionise how people from low-income households and disadvantaged communities access services. So I'll bring it up again at the end. Go through it. This is the team. 11 people. One of them's not on there. Hi9. We've gone from just me to 11 within a year. And this has been with the massive support of People Hub. So European Union funding. I hope the people from People Hub can see the European funding logo. It's far bigger than any other logo. Right? Huge, right? So I don't get told off. And also with the support of Cornwall Council, we've been brilliant on this. Stacey Sleeman especially I'd like to call out for. So People Hub is a revolutionary new service, ESF funding, and it's about working with organisations like Connect and with Smart Matching and the People Hub call centre. Is for anyone who wants to or needs to, who is unemployed, who's accessing training, has someone to call and with us something to use in order to get it, to get someone to mentor. I mean, I give the class example, and I'll be introducing Mimi in a second, but you weren't this far maybe, but a homeless young girl on a street corner, someone can go up to her and say, do you want to get into the AI industry? And for her to go, that's impossible, how this can happen? Well, organisations such as the People Hub and also clusters from Robert, it's about making this one-stop shop and also, more importantly, unlocking potential. All these people are now coming together so that that girl has that pathway for mentoring, support, phone, one-on-one, group sessions. There's no longer going to be a whole hodgepodge of different pieces of information and knowledge that no one knows how to navigate. That is now going to be solved. So, when people think of AI, think of this. As Andy was quite right? You said, yeah, everyone does that in a way. Because that is about the general intelligence, and also because it is true, right? And I know it's true because someone like Walter, who's my chief data scientist, who is a political refugee from Hong Kong, has experienced that it's true. Because it's top down. Now, Walter will be speaking later and give his experiences. And trust me, please talk to him. That's the road you could go down. That's top-down AI. What we're doing is bottom-up AI. We are going to give a data scientist to a homeless person. We are going to give the most powerful tool the world has known in the hands of the people who are the least powerful in our society. The government should be quaking in its shoes. That is what we're doing. But not just that, working with People Hub to make sure that Debbie's an assistant. She's not about replacing. She's about enabling. She's about, and I'm going to go through it step by step, the ability for that individual to access all that knowledge in a revolutionary type way. Ooh, I'm going to fly through now. Okay, that seems to... Right, so here's who the industry builds for right now. Josh, can you stand up? Right, so it's someone called Josh, right, who has an e-bike that has beard oil, right, and makes his own hot sauce. and is a product manager of a tech company.
Be like Josh.
Yes. That's who we build for now. Okay? That's who we always build. When people turn around and said engineers should build for problems that they experience in their life, it was the worst piece of advice anyone has ever given. Because we just built for Josh. Society, as we all learn, is much more than Josh. And we still don't build for him. Poor Josh. Right? Right, so this is going to move forward. So we also build for Josh, but we build with these people first. We build from the ground up. We build for the people who need it most first. I'm not saying Josh is going to be accessing these services. You're okay there, Josh. Is that we start there. That is a new revolutionary way of thinking. And we were Hi9 was part of the Google Launchpad and lots of different, we spoke to many different organizations and spoke at all these different conferences. No one thinks of them. They think of them as a charity. They are not a charity. They are users. They are users like you and me and should be treated like you and me. We are not doing this out of charity. We are a tech company who treat these people seriously, like any tech company should. Like Mimi. Mimi here is sitting here. You think, who is that girl? Now, some of you know, this is a BBC article. Mimi is now learning level 4 on tax at one of the biggest accountancy firms, in fact, the biggest accountancy firms in the Southwest.
It's the biggest regional, yeah.
Yeah. So, Mimi, what was your background like?
So my background was filled with economic and really bouncing through the system, being abused, and it wound up that actually very close to what you described at the beginning, being street homeless at 16 whilst in school, and trying to navigate, basically learning how to live your life and function as an adult when you're still a child, and get through the systems that are in place that are kind of there against you almost, even though they're there to help.
What was the bureaucracy like? And what was the sort of the risk if you didn't get the bureaucracy right?
Oh, it was insane. So I remember the only way I got help in the first place, everyone knew I was street homeless for quite a while. And it was only when one student mentioned it to a teacher, they were like, oh, okay, right, we'll have to deal with that then. And there wasn't anywhere I could be placed, so I had to source it all at 16. I had to take time out of school to get my way. I went to school in St Just, get myself back to Penzance, go to a council meeting, and you're filling out forms like this when you can't even apply for anything else, and you're left in a room pretty much on your own to deal with it, and they're told, well, you're not told, but basically if you don't fill it out right or you click the wrong box, that's it, you're homeless, that's it, they're not going to find you a place to live, you're on your own. And that's very much what I dealt with on a day-to-day basis until it was probably when I met you.
Yeah. But what Mimi taught me and so many others that we did user testing with is the bureaucracy and the cost of that bureaucracy. You get it wrong, you don't eat.
Yeah.
You get it wrong, you're homeless. There's no form I fill out where that's the case. Our job is to revolutionise that behaviour and the things we learned from Mimi. So and Mimi, you're training to be a tax accountant. The most complicated thing I could think of, right?
Yeah, trying to do economic A-levels and studying by candlelight was fun.
And the form filling you found incredibly difficult, something you have a natural aptitude for. Yeah.
Yeah, I filled out the forms I hated back then.
So, what we're doing is access to knowledge, access to services, access to information. You would think of this. Who's this? Organise the world's information and make it universally, they put that word, universally accessible and useful. Google. Mimi, can you find the local food banks in the area using Google?
No.
Mimi, can you fill out a form or access the information on how you can coach using a form using Google?
No.
Google lied. Right? What they meant was Josh. They didn't mean anyone else. we are going to change. I'm not saying it'll be Google, for God's sake, right? I'm not that. I might have pride, but not that much pride. But there is a massive gap that no one's in, and that's where we're entering. Google was supposed to do that, and they didn't. When they said universally, they didn't. I actually talked to the head of Google, Sundar Pichai, and I said, when you said the next billion, you meant the middle classes of Africa and China and India, and he agreed. He's not interested. So, he said he was going to do something about it, and they did absolutely nothing about it. So, little side issues. What is Debbie? Debbie's a bot. So we're in a Cornish AI company that is creating an opportunity infrastructure to aid levelling up. We have a bot which does right now 4 things. People Hub referral. You can get People Hub to give you a call from it at your own leisure. Job centre search, food bank search, and a benefit calculator. Or estimator. You see, Wissam's looking at me, right? And Debbie Wave, okay? So this, we're starting off with WhatsApp. A normal tech company would go to bots, would go to Google Home, Google Assistant. People, like in Mimi's circumstance, we found are using WhatsApp. So we start with WhatsApp, and then we're going to go to SMS. We're not moving away from that. Then we're going to go to Alexa. Then we're going to go to Google Home. Then we're going to create our own app. So I'm going to hand over just some of the AI technical challenges to my CTO, Wissam. Do you want to explain sort of the challenge and where we're at right now?
Yeah, so after we worked on the food bank search and People Hub referral and everything, the next step was to work on the benefit model. So there are around 26 benefits in the UK that a UK citizen can claim, but they are all over the government website, and it's not easy to find all the information. Yeah. So that's why we thought about building a benefit model around that to answer questions about the benefit and get the most accurate response possible. So we use natural language processing, some sophisticated models like GPT-3, and even the novel architecture called the transformers. And we got an accuracy of up to 60%, but we wanted more. Unfortunately, the model was not the best with numbers, and you need to know like how much you can claim and what you need, like savings and everything. And most of the models, most of the benefits, as you can see, they all share the same structure. So you always find an overview, some information about the eligibility requirement, how much you can get, and how you can claim it. And that's what we call the core 4. But it didn't really work out the way we wanted it. So the next step was building the benefit estimator, not calculator, which is more of a chat with Debbie, and it's an immersive dialogue. It's not just filling a form, it's talking to Debbie and answering questions and getting help to understand how each element is calculated. And getting help with that.
And by ripping the benefit estimator out, the next stage is to get it up to 80%. We think by ripping that out, actually, then we can get the model accuracy up. So that's what's being worked on now, a universal model. That means the fact that the government changes, it doesn't matter. The question and answering we get will be accurate. So, that's the benefit estimator. Security. Now, this is the other challenge. People talk to us all the time. Thanks, Sam. People talk to us all the time going, oh, these are vulnerable people. What are you going to do about data? You could be shared and everything else. There's 2 points to that. These aren't vulnerable people. These are users. Don't talk to them like they're children. I've learnt this lesson, haven't I, Mimi? Right? Mimi reminds me all the time. They are users of Facebook and Instagram. We don't talk about them as if they are vulnerable. We talk about them as if they're users. But we understand about data. So we have done something else revolutionary. Security is vital to us. So we are doing decentralized identity. That's a nice big mouthful. So what that means is the fact that, I can't show you because, but if you come up to me, I'll show you on the laptop. So Marcus here has been doing the fact that when you put in your personal identifiable information, it gets encrypted on your device. It means that no one can ever find it, ever. You could have the Chinese government, right? And it's part of what's called the Web3, blockchain, all these terms you heard. you've heard, it's going to be this year's big thing. And we'll be doing talks on about this a bit later in the year. But that means the fact that you have your personal identifiable information on you, and we can't see it, no one can see it, ever. So these are certain tools that we're using. Can't tell you what it is, can we, Marcus? But Marcus is more than happy to show you how it works. It also means that, this one here, is that for people like People Hub and any organisation, when they access anything that's personal identifiable, name, date of birth, address, that sort of thing, is encrypted on here. Anything else that you might be putting in the benefit estimator, like a number of children, am I in couple, and everything else, we will be storing. But you can't connect the two, so we don't know what it is. So we can put AI over that information, but we're never going to know your name, date of birth, and everything else. This is inspired a lot by Walter, who taught us how the power of data with the individual is really important. So, if People Hub wants to access that, there's a login again, Marcus can show this, that People Hub will put it in. They then put in, so if it's WhatsApp, the telephone number of the user. They then put in for how long they want access to their personal identifiable information. 1 hour, 1 week.
And until the user revotes access.
Until the user revotes access, I've forgotten. And the reason, you put that in, you then get a push notification on your phone that people want access, the reason why and for how long. You can then approve. They then see it. You can then see who, when and how and why, and you've got complete access. We can never see it. So these users have complete control over their data. That is really important. They don't trust this data, a lot of them. If they feel like this data is completely and utterly safe. Also, we're going to have backup hubs all across Cornwall in places like the estates. So therefore, none of this data, even if it's encrypted, even if you broke into it, you wouldn't be able to analyze it or get anything from it, but it never leaves Cornwall and never goes up to the cloud. So it stays here. That is really important to us to build trust, because these people have a lot of trust issues, and quite rightly in a lot of different ways. So those are the two URLs that you can play around with on the board. Marcus is looking at me suspiciously. Very quickly, this is a really important part of us. That's why Dr. Lauren Hayhurst, right, is here. Is about emotional immersion. Is that, yes, this is accurate, but if you notice, Debbie's got a tone. How old is Debbie?
Sorry?
How old is Debbie?
Oh, she turned 50 in October.
How many children does she have?
She's got 2 children, 2 sons.
Josh, do you remember what her favourite cake is?
Moose.
Yeah. At Christmas time, it's stolen with a cup of tea, and in the summer, it's strawberry shortcake.
So, that's what are we doing, right? Lauren, who's going to be doing a workshop later, is going to show you what we're going to be doing. I'll give the example of, if you're at a party, there is someone whose English is the first language, and they are boring. There's someone at the party who's Italian, whose English is a second language, and about 60% accurate, who's charming. Who do you want to spend time with? So we think, and we are gambling, that we can get over things like issues and problems and everything else by the use of emotional immersion, which Lauren was my first hire, not a data scientist, but a creative writing lecturer. So for you, Lauren, I mean, I want to give an example of when you went over benefit estimator, you and Finn over there, who's a linguistic developer. I always get it wrong, right? So how did it make you feel? Because I've been through the experience of filling those forms. Mimi, you know, that's traumatic. How was it for you, and how did you try and reframe that?
Yeah, so for me, going through it was personally very difficult because I've had to go through it myself and helping my partner apply for disability benefit. So personally, it was triggering a lot of stuff that I'd already been through, and because Debbie needed to understand it in order to talk conversationally about it, and she needed to be the parent, she needed to be the mentor and the guide through this, which meant we also had to embody that, me and Finn. And so for us it was a case of dealing with that personal response and remembering, hang on a minute, we're in this position of relative power, and we've got the opportunity here to actually help people navigate this that are also having similar, if not worse, emotional responses. So that's what drove us through, and the fact that you can now talk to Debbie about something that is so triggering for a lot of people. Debbie will explain everything in plain English. She'll give you encouragement and opportunities to take a break. She'll remember the conversation. I think she can remember it for about an hour, and after that she gets a bit fuzzy. And she'll coach you through it, talk to you about exactly what you need, and if you haven't got it, she'll arrange a call with People Hub at any point in the conversation. So yeah, that was really important.
And the use of language is really important. On forms you have the word address. Please stop it. There's 12 million people who don't have one. Right? Where do you live? Okay, these are the things we're going to start informing back up. Right? On the housing application, the Cornwall Council, it puts what is your address. No offence to Cornwall Council, but please stop doing that. Can you go to the next one? So roadmap, very aggressive. Things are going to happen really quick. You next one? Working. Okay, so weekly improvements. Oh god. Okay, on the screen it's overlapped. So the platforms. We've got WhatsApp, but it's now going to be on Messenger literally next week. Telegram and SMS, really important. A web app will be proof of concept by the end of the month. And Alexa Google, Debbie already has a voice, thanks to Finn. And we're also going to be, Josh, can you bring up the show and tells, right? And the screen. Thanks, Josh. So we're also, the features, benefit calculator is going to have scenarios. That came from Nadia, thanks for that. You can put in different hours, different possibilities and find different results. So you can start to see what you can do. Core 4 model to get to 80% accuracy. A housing algorithm or calculator. Debbie Vault, which is the security to actually be production ready. Cornwall services knowledge, so we're going to crawl over the Google Cornwall site. And again, because of Nadia, knowledge base, actually every single piece of PDF and knowledge there is in Cornwall, we're going to be going over. Local events, so local events in the area, so you'll be able to know what's happening. So if you've got children, you need to know a free event, that will be done. And skills, which will be coming soon, so you'll be access to all those skills. That's in Q1, which is till the end of March. And in the wild, these are going to be in first of all Trinair, then Campbell, then Saltash. Cardboard won't cause any environmental, all recycled, and the QR code. And we're going to hang them up, and people will scan them. And we're going to put them near where people are, where you're homeless, whether in particular areas, so therefore they can scan them and get help, or get People Hub to give them a call back, so they're never alone.
And at the top as well, you've got Debbie's mobile number.
Yeah, so next one. So the roadmap Q2 is, we're going to drive to 1,000 users, and do not stop, do not pass go. SMS to Metaverse. Yes, we're also designing all the way to the end to have Debbie in the Metaverse so you can meet her. And we're going to launch properly in Cornwall and London. Next one. There's a Facebook group. Once you get to the end of the bot, it'll ask you to join it or near the front as well. So on there, we want feedback. I don't care if you're homeless or not homeless. Just give us feedback. These are early adopters. This is an early version. We've got lots of things happening in the back that we're going to start switching on. So it's going to be weekly, almost daily, new things that are coming up. If you do, you'll get a special badge for your username. You'll even be acknowledged by Debbie, and even an Easter egg in Debbie. So something only you can access. So when people start using it, you can type something in, and you will be given something unique. So that was a thank you. The group is really, really important. So we really want you to join that group as well as to use Debbie. That's me. Please contact me. Please talk to me. Please email me. Please come up. I want information. We all do. We've got a team here, 11. We are sponges to learn. So please contact me. And please use Debbie. And please join the Facebook group. So that's it. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you.